I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times I go through every single day and I imagine all the things that I want to accomplish in that day, in the future, in this year, maybe 5 years from now. And I see this version of myself doing all these things, right? Whether it's waking up early to, hit the gym and do my meditation or do some journaling instead of sleeping into a point where I have just enough time to get myself ready, do the things I need to do, grab my lunch, feed the dog, get out the door and get to work, right? And I get there, not even early, just right on time, or even a little bit late sometimes, right? Because that's the flow in which I've allowed this habit to form. And a lot of times I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, if I could just be that guy that's waking up early, but I see this guy in my mind waking up early and doing all these things. I just never get myself to that point, even when I try to create this small little habit, because I talk myself out of it. My brain naturally just wants to talk myself into thinking I don't need to do those things. Or when I get home, instead of sitting down on the couch because I've had a long day and I deserve, this rest time, and I tell myself these things, and it stops me from creating and doing the productive things I want to do. It's sitting down, opening a book, improving my own self development. Maybe I don't know, just different things that I know that I need to do in order to take that next step in my life and progress and develop into a better person. That version of me that I want to see, that version of me that has all the things and has that discipline to do the things that I want to accomplish. But I found myself allowing my brain to talk me out of it, stay in the comfort zone, and not do those things because I feel like I don't need to. And it's funny too, because at the end of the night, I'd be like, you know what? I screwed up today. I'll try this tomorrow. Right. Well, I'll wake up early and I'll go to the gym and I'll do these things. And it still doesn't happen, And it's interesting to me that I see this person and I want to be this person. It's easy for me to commit to sitting down and binge watching something on Netflix instead of creating, because I find that it's more relaxing and more this and more that. But at the same time, I have to understand that in order to change my personal reality, I have to change my personality for things that I want in life. So, I have goals that I want to accomplish, the financial goals, the house goals. I live in Florida. I want a boat. I want to live in a nice place. I want to be able to travel whenever I want to. I don't want to have to worry about money. If I want to buy something, I buy it. If I want to give money to somebody to help them, I want to know that I have that financial stability and, more money than I can even handle, because that's the way it honestly should be if I'm thinking abundantly, to be able to help other people. But I am my own worst enemy. I stop myself from accomplishing these things because I allow my brain to stay in that comfort zone. Dr. Joe Dispenza, phenomenal guy, has an amazing story. If you have not heard his story, I urge you to either go on YouTube or find his book or something and read about it. It's incredible. But he always says that in order to change your personal reality, you need to change your personality. And that makes total sense to me. And when he also stated that in order to get to the level of discipline and the level of, moving toward becoming that higher self, that version of you that you want to be, it takes it takes you overcoming talking yourself out of doing the things you want to do. And it makes total sense. He was talking also, about just a scenario where they measure brain waves and they measure certain things. And he said the point at which you start doing things that you don't want to do, when you feel like you want to quit, when you feel like you want to give up, when you feel like today was just too hard and I don't want to, when you get past that point, that point, when you still push yourself to do the things that you truly want to do, you're just trying to stay comfortable. That is when the most change happens. That is when the most changes in the brain occur, when you push yourself past that point. So I sit here and I'm making this video And I went through this entire process maybe for the last hour of whether or not I actually wanted to sit down and create this video. It's something I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time. And I keep procrastinating. I keep talking myself out of it. I keep also having those limiting fears of, what if nobody watches it? What if nobody cares what I have to say? What if, what if the comments make me feel like this is, I'm on the wrong, I'm going the wrong way with all of this, and I'm not helping anybody. And what if people make fun of what I have to say? And, this is stuff that we go through every single day, when it's fear that kind of stops us from accomplishing the things that we want to accomplish. So I sat down, I pushed record on this. During Christmas, I asked for all the little gimmicks and, the cords I needed in order to start creating, and the phone holder, and I got the software program and all this stuff. And I still didn't do anything with it for the first, almost 30 days now. Even though I had thought about it, well before Christmas time. It's taking me this long to get to this point. But you know what? Today, when I told myself I was going to do this, I felt different. I felt really different. I felt secure. I felt confident. I felt like I was going in the right direction. As a matter of fact, I had more energy today because I was thinking about this and I got excited about it. And I was like, you know what? Today's the day I'm going to be that version. Today's the day I'm going to be that version of me that I always see doing all the things I want to do. I just never get to that point because I talk myself out of it. And so, was it a huge effort to do this? No, I just needed to do it. I needed to take that step and sit down at this desk and put the phone on the holder and push record and plug in the mic and just talk and just kind of get my feelings out there, the things that I've been experiencing. So, I've been really starting to get interested in the law of attraction, the law of assumption, and I've been reading up on it. And, at first I didn't take it seriously, but things started happening when I really started meditating and I really started focusing on myself and understanding what Joe Dispenza was trying to say when he says you have to change your your personality to change your personal reality. You can't go into trying to accomplish something that is much higher and harder than the things that you currently allow yourself to experience with the same personality that always talks you out of doing these things. You have to change who you are. You have to commit to being a certain somebody. And that initial step that I took, it was probably about 3 months ago. I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a new car. I never saw myself actually buying a vehicle where I didn't see it being used and, more than $15,000. And that's how I always saw it. It's not even the fact that my parents instilled that in me. We never really had brand new vehicles until later on in life. Even then, they were still used. We never bought one straight off the lot, which isn't a big deal. But my version of what I thought I deserved and what I always thought I would have is I never thought I'd have a brand new car. So I told myself, this is the perfect time to get past this fear and this limitational thinking that I have that I can't have these things. I mean, I got to a point now where, I'm making enough money. I feel secure that I can have a car payment. And the only thing that was holding me back was my own fear and my own limiting thought that I didn't deserve it. If I did get this newer vehicle that was more expensive than what I would typically want to spend, what else is it going to do? And my brain started going through all these things, all these fear factors of, well, what if you lose your job? And what if you do this? And what if this happens? And, what if your wife loses her job? And all these different things that it's almost funny. I allow these stories to be told in my head that aren't even true. It's all these fear factors of things that could be that most likely will never happen. And if they did, that is not a way of thinking that what if these things happen? Well, then if I keep thinking about what if, I'll never accomplish anything in life because I'll be too scared to move forward. I'll keep staying exactly where I am. And I'm at a point now where I'm tired of that. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to stay exactly where I am. I want to accomplish something. So I made the decision I was going to get a new car. And I made a decision that I was going to, get a car that was a little bit more expensive than what I would feel comfortable buying, you know? So I had been looking at Jeeps for the longest time. And I started journaling. You know, I was watching some law of attraction and abundance versus limitation thinking. You know, and I'm a Christian. I'm very spiritual. I grew up in a Christian family. So, you know, when I heard the law of attraction, it sounded like, oof, you know, I don't know, that this doesn't seem very, you know, like godlike. It's almost like people are worshiping, you know, money the way that they talk. But once I got past allowing myself to think the way I did, as as I'm watching these people and they're on YouTube and they're so passionate and everything they're saying isn't bad. It's about being kinder to people. It's about like getting rid of those limiting thoughts that you have and have an abundance thought process. And when I thought about it, I'm like, that's abundant life. Like that's what God wants for me. So what they say makes sense. And the part of it where, you know, they talk about the law of attraction and that your thoughts, whatever you think, will manifest into reality. It's hard for me to jump on board with that. It was really hard for me to jump on board with that. But then I started thinking, you know, in my life, my thoughts really do drive my actions. And my thoughts really do allow me to go in a certain direction of where I feel I am either deserving or I feel that my life will take me, because that path to that life is it feels comfortable to me, you know, a life of, you know, a certain social status and a limiting thinking because, you know, I don't want all this money because money is evil and all this different stuff. I was kind of wrong about that. And one of the reasons I was really wrong is because that was an ego side of me that I realize now. I was thinking from the ego. I was judging people because they had money. I was judging them based on all the bad things I had seen and heard about people with money and power, and how, you know, they just kind of do what they want and they don't abide by the rules, and, you know, they're the reasons why we have so much evil in this world. And I allowed myself to believe those things. And when I really started to look at it from a different paradigm, from a different, you know, from a different lens, and I had a paradigm shift of my thoughts, I was like, that's not true. There are amazing people in this world that have so much money and they give and they do great things. And I can't remember who it was, and I feel bad about that, but someone once said, and I was listening to a YouTube channel, and I remember hearing that, you know, those who get, like, if you're a happy person, you're a good person, and you get money, you're just going to be a happy, good person with money. If you're a bad person and you have those thoughts of using money in a negative way, you're just going to be a bad person with money. It has to do with the person themselves. It has nothing to do with money. And I find it fascinating too that the more research I do, I realize that rich people, money doesn't make them happy. It makes them, you know, not worry as much about things in life and be able to do the things that they want to do whenever they want to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So knowing all this, I had to talk myself into taking that next step, not just because of, you know, me removing the lack and limitational thoughts, but also feeling good about me and my faith moving forward in this life of understanding a little bit further, having a paradigm shift in my thoughts about what the law of assumption and the law of attraction really mean. When I heard Joe Dispenza, and I keep saying it, change your, you know, personality in order to change your personal reality. I had to change who I was in order to buy this vehicle, because I could not be the same person with the same limiting mindset, with the same fear, going to a car dealership to buy a vehicle. And I had been looking at Jeeps, and I'll get to that point too, because this is fascinating as well. To buy a vehicle that I didn't think I deserved. There's no way I could go do that and be the same person with the same mindset. So I had to change. I had to become somebody else in order to make that actually happen. So when we talk about the law of attraction, it is about, your thoughts and, the feeling of those thoughts, seeing yourself in those moments and feeling the emotion of what it's going to be like to have that new car. I did all that. And sure enough, when I got to the car dealership, first off, I keep talking about the Jeep. I didn't end up getting a Jeep. That's what I wanted. That's what I saw myself in. But it's interesting how a lot of times the connection between what we want and what we're supposed to have is completely different. So my dad passed away and left me his Lincoln, and it was really a big deal to me. That was my dad's car. And getting rid of that car was going to be one of the hardest things I could do, but I need to do it to also move on, and to move on to becoming the person I'm trying to be. And I couldn't do that being stuck with, not that I was stuck with my dad's car. That was a blessing. I was super grateful to have it. And I was super grateful to have a piece of my dad for that amount of time. But it is important that if I'm going to move on and try to become someone different, I need to move on from the things I'm holding on to that are holding me back. And I realize that just because I get rid of this car does not really mean I'm getting rid of my dad. My dad is always going to be with me, and I love him more than anything in the world. But I was ready. I was ready to take that leap because I knew I needed to, right? And as I'm looking at Jeeps, I love them. I thought it would be cool. The idea of taking the top off. Like, I live in Florida, and I was like, this is going to be fantastic. But for some reason, I just wasn't resonating with the Jeep when it came down to actually making the purchase. But for some reason, I was resonating more with getting another Lincoln. Something I never even thought about. But as I'm researching, looking at cars, and this Lincoln Nautilus kept popping up, 2021 Lincoln Nautilus. I saw a blue one, and I was like, man, that's nice. It's got everything I want too, because I really want to be able to have the top open. Enjoy the Florida weather when it's nice out, and you can do that. I thought to myself, like, that's amazing. That something I thought I wanted, I'm just not feeling it. But when I see this Lincoln, there's a connection here. Like, it felt right. It felt right. And it had the moonroof. It had everything I was looking for. And I was like, what is happening? Like, I was really set on getting a Jeep. Like, I could see myself driving down the beach with the top off there in the summer and jumping out and, the dog in the back and everything. But for some reason, it felt so right with a Lincoln. And I was looking at a blue one, but this white one kept popping up all the time, over and over, as I was researching on the website. And I kept seeing it. And I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go look at it. Like, me and my wife went on a Saturday. We went to go look at it. And when we got there, it wasn't available to look at. It was in a storage thing, and it was on the weekend. And we did get there a little bit late, so it made sense. And the guy's like, look, I'm not going to be able to show you the vehicle until, during the week. And I couldn't make it there during the week. I have to work. And, it was a pretty far drive. It was like an hour away. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I was like, we'll be back next weekend. And, if it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be. And I was just trying to think like that, because I also noticed that when it comes to control, when I take my hand off the steering wheel and just let things evolve, things go the right way. When I am trying to control a situation, I make wrong decisions. So there's definitely something to that too, is just trust and having faith that what is supposed to happen, what I'm supposed to have, will work out. And it's interesting that the sense of relief and everything just feels right when you just take your hands off the steering wheel and just have faith and let things evolve. So next weekend comes around, and I think it doesn't come around. It's like Thursday or Friday. And I'm looking back online, looking at the website, and I see the Lincoln, and it got marked down $4,000. And I was like, wow, there's got to be something to this. There's got to be, right? So we go, and we get there, and the guy brings the car out, and I sit in it, and it feels right. Like, everything feels so perfect. It's exactly what I want. It drives beautifully. I'm able to open the top all the way up. It's got the nice big screen in there and all the cooling seats because I live in Florida and that was a big thing. Like it was perfect. I was like, okay, like this is all coming together. Here's the clincher. When it came down to sitting down, talking over the details of the finances, which were making me cringe because naturally I just wanted to go back to what was comfortable, and that was just keeping the car I have and not doing anything. I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, if I went into this not not with the same mindset that I had maybe a month and a half prior, I probably wouldn't even be at this dealership. I'd be too terrified. But I'm here now. This is a big step for me, you know? And I'm sitting there and he's giving me the numbers, and naturally my brain is just going through every reason I should not get this vehicle. Even though, even though everything was right. The price was right. It felt right. I could see myself in it. I could see how it was going to work. Like everything was right. Everything was right. And I was about to talk myself out of it. And I was like, you know what? No, not this time. Not this time. I'm not going to allow it to happen. And I said, yes, let's do it. Let's go. Let's get this deal done. Right. So here I am driving home in this 2021 Lincoln Nautilus, white, black leather interior. And I'm driving, and I was so proud of myself because that was a big step, you know? And I'm not telling people you got to go make these drastic decisions like buying a car or something like that. That was something I chose for myself. And that's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. But I think it is important to push yourself past what you've been waiting to do. But you are the reason it's not happening because you're holding yourself back. You're allowing your brain to talk you out of something that you truly want, even when there's no reason for you not to go get it other than you creating stories in your mind of why you're not going to do it. You know, and I get home and it's parked in the garage, and later on that night we're sitting down, we're watching a movie together as a family, and everybody goes to bed, and I just go out in the garage and I turn the light on, and I look at it, and I look at this vehicle that I purchased, when I didn't think I'd ever have a vehicle like this, a luxury vehicle. And it felt good. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, you did this, Jay. Like you did this. You took the step needed to get past this barrier, and look at what you did. And I don't regret it for 1 second. It was the feeling of it all was just so right. And I think that's an important thing too. Like when something is right and it's meant to be, you will know, like you will feel it. Everything will just feel right. And I close the door, and it's got those nice front lights on it too. So I close the door, and I just, like, if you have the key on you and you walk past the vehicle, like the whole outside will light up and the lights will go on. So the garage is pitch dark, and I just opened the door and walked past it, and I saw the car glow. And I think one of the reasons I was doing that was just let it all sink in. Like, this is real. Like, this is your car now, and you did this. And I encourage all of you, if there's something that you want to accomplish, if there's something that you want to do, you got to get past that barrier. And still every single day I'm dealing with this. I'm working through my own lack and limitational thinking. I'm more conscious of my thoughts and the thoughts that are stopping me from being the best I can be, and going into a day knowing that everything is going to work out for me, and I'm have a great day. And my team is going to succeed, and it's going to be great. That even that positive thinking, and and this is a big one too. Like now also, instead of like waking up in the morning and be like, oh, I gotta go to work, like I try to be more grateful for things. Like I get to go to work today, and at lunchtime I get to go to the gym and come back and go to a job where I love working with the people I work with, and being around a bunch of great people that I'm able to uplift with my positive energy and be a good influence. It's that gratitude. It's that thought process of that you get to do something rather than that you have to do something that has really completely changed my life as well. So I hope this video helps you guys. I'm still on the beginning steps of my journey, trying to create a life of abundance, trying to really educate and put myself in a position to learn how to trust God in the process of everything that I'm doing and trust that He's got that plan. But it all comes down to me too. It's about me having the correct thoughts and not thinking in lack, thinking abundantly, thinking about goals, like not just, the next house I want to live in, but thinking even bigger than that. Like, how great would it be to live in a house on the beach, and have an environment where I don't really have to worry about money. And if my wife and I want to take a weekend and travel, we can do that. And if we know somebody is in need and they need help financially or whatever it may be, that I don't have to think twice, I can help them. I can do those things. And I think it's just really important that we start realizing that we are much more than we are much more than we think we are, and we can accomplish much more than we think we can accomplish. And it starts with you getting out of your own way. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. So anyway, I hope you guys find some value in this video. I am going to start creating more of these because that is something I told myself I was going to do. This is the commitment I'm making to myself. And I love the fact that you guys get to be a part of this journey with me. I watch a lot of the videos of people talking about the law of attraction, how they manifest in different things, but some of it is also confusing to me because they've been in it, and sometimes I'm watching the videos and I'm like waiting for those baby steps. Like, well, what did it feel like? What was it? What did you do in order for this to happen? You kind of talk about the end point, but how did you do it? And that's kind of what I want to deliver. I want to deliver the basics, like the foundation of how it all develops, it starts. And I'm going through that myself, and it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating, especially the difference you can make in people's lives, with the positive attitude and the non-limited thought process. So I love you all. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm so anxious to produce more and, help you on your journey to become a better you.